Welcome to the Literature Joint, where we explore the most compelling stories in literature. Today, we're diving into You Don't Know Me by Imran Mahmood, a gripping legal thriller that takes courtroom drama to a whole new level. If you're into intense, thought-provoking crime stories, this one's a must-read. Stick around as we unravel the twists, turns, and psychological depth of this fascinating novel. You Don't Know Me centers around a young man on trial for murder. But this isn't your average courtroom drama. What sets this book apart is that the defendant chooses to represent himself in court. He dismisses his legal counsel and presents his own narrative to the jury. This decision alone ramps up the tension because you're constantly wondering, is he innocent? Is he guilty? And why is he telling his story this way? The young man's voice takes over the narrative entirely, and the entire book is structured as a closing argument. For 10 days, he speaks directly to the jury, and to us, the readers. He tells his story, his way, explaining his version of the events that led to him being accused of murder. Through this unfiltered account, we're taken into his world, a world that reveals the complexities of urban life, gang culture, loyalty, love, and survival. But here's the thing, it's up to you, the reader, to decide if he's telling the truth. He lays out his life, his struggles, his relationships, his choices, and argues that what appears on the surface isn't the whole picture. And trust me, by the end of the book, you'll be questioning everything you thought you knew. One of the most unique aspects of You Don't Know Me is the narrative style. The entire novel is written in the defendant's voice. It feels like you're right there in the courtroom, sitting among the jury, hanging on to every word he says. His language is raw, authentic, and deeply personal, which makes the story feel incredibly real. You can feel his desperation, frustration, and, at times, anger as he tries to convince you of his innocence. What Mahmood does brilliantly is explore the theme of perception versus reality. As the defendant recounts his life and the events that led up to the trial, you start to realize that things aren't as straightforward as they seem. The defendant argues that the justice system is flawed, that evidence can be manipulated, and that people's assumptions about him based on his background and circumstances are clouding the truth. This raises important questions about bias, systemic injustice, and how the truth is often a matter of perspective. There's also a strong exploration of identity throughout the novel. Who is this young man? Is he a victim of his circumstances, or is he complicit in his own downfall? Can he be both? These are questions that Mahmood leaves you to grapple with, making the book not just a thriller, but a deep dive into the complexities of human behavior and societal structures. Let's talk about the main character, because while we never learn his name, his presence is undeniable. His voice is so distinct and commanding that it carries the entire novel. He's charismatic, relatable at times, but also frustratingly unreliable. One moment you believe him completely, and the next, doubt creeps in. This back and forth keeps you on edge, never quite sure where the story is going to land. The layers of his personality are peeled back bit by bit, and what you uncover is a young man torn between two worlds, the one he wants to live in and the one he feels trapped by. The other characters, though they don't get as much time in the spotlight, play pivotal roles in his story. His relationship with his girlfriend, Kyra, is central to the narrative, and through his retelling, we see the emotional and psychological toll the streets, crime, and loyalty take on young lives. There's also Jamil, a friend who drags him deeper into the criminal underworld, and the mysterious Blizz, a key player in the murder accusation. These characters all serve to build a broader picture of the social pressures the main character faces. Now, let's talk about the courtroom drama, because this book brings a unique flavor to the legal thriller genre. The fact that the defendant is representing himself immediately ups the stakes. It's like watching someone walk a tightrope without a safety net. You're constantly questioning his choices, wondering if he's doing the right thing by narrating his own story. The tension builds with every chapter as you move closer to the verdict. Mahmood also does a brilliant job of showing the power dynamics in the courtroom. The defendant, a young man from a disadvantaged background, is up against the full force of the legal system. But instead of bowing to the pressure, he turns it on its head, forcing the jury, and the reader, to reconsider their assumptions about him, the evidence, and the crime itself. And here's something to get excited about, the BBC adapted You Don't Know Me into a gripping miniseries. It aired in 2021 and was praised for its powerful performances and intense, emotionally charged narrative. If you haven't checked it out yet, it's definitely worth watching after reading the book. The miniseries does an excellent job of capturing the tension and moral ambiguity of the story while staying faithful to the novel's unique structure. In conclusion, You Don't Know Me is not just a courtroom drama, it's a profound exploration of truth, justice, and the human condition. Imran Mahmood's legal background shines through as he paints a vivid picture of a broken justice system and a young man fighting for his life. It's a book that will keep you thinking long after you've finished reading. If you're a fan of crime thrillers, legal dramas, or stories that challenge your perspective, this one is for you. And remember, this is just the beginning of a deeper conversation about justice and identity in modern society. So, go grab a copy of You Don't Know Me, dive in, and prepare to question everything. That's all for today's deep dive into You Don't Know Me by Imran Mahmood. If you love thought-provoking legal thrillers, you don't want to miss this one. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the Literature Joint, and hit the bell for more book discussions, recommendations, and reviews. Until next time, keep reading and stay curious.